So this is the topic completed in yesterday's class. Today we are going to discuss about the three types of blood cells: RBC or erythrocytes, WBC or leukocytes, platelets or thrombocytes. So other name will write down erythrocytes, leukocytes, thrombocytes. Erythrocytes because they are red in color, leukocytes because they are white in color. Thrombocytes, why they are called thrombocytes? Because the main enzyme in this is thrombokinase. Thrombokinase is very important enzyme that helps in clotting of blood. So what is the structure of these cells? First of all, shape of the cells. RBC are round, biconcave in shape. Biconcave. They are round if you see like this. From sideways, they are biconcave like this. WBC are round cells, almost round. Spherical cells, you can say. Spherical cells. Whereas platelets are biconvex like this. Biconvex. What about nucleus? In RBC, mature RBC. Mature RBC has no nucleus except camel and llama. Camel and llama. What do you understand from this sentence? Is there RBC in the newly formed cells? Yes, it is there. Is in a mature RBC no nucleus. In a newly formed RBC, nucleus is there. That means when the RBC is initially formed, at that time it has nucleus. When it grows and becomes adult, the mature RBC does not have nucleus. Except camel and llama means camel and llama have nucleus in their mature cells also. Okay, in mature RBC of camel and llama, nucleus is present, but in our body, all mammals except camel and llama do not have nucleus. That is the meaning of this sentence. Only when RBC is mature, you can see an young RBC cell, it has nucleus. What about WBC? In WBC, nucleus is various shapes. Nucleus varies in shape. What about platelets? Platelets have no nucleus. Nucleus is absent in platelets also. What is the function of RBC? RBC has a very important function in our body. It helps in exchange of gases. It helps in exchange of gases. What is the function? Exchange of gases. What do you mean by exchange of gases? When we inhale oxygen, finally oxygen enters into blood and RBC carries this oxygen and it reaches to each and every cell of our body. And when carbon dioxide is produced in that cells, RBC will take that carbon dioxide and pass it to lungs. In this way, it helps in exchange of gases. WBC has very important role in immunity. Immunity, they are the cells which involved in immunity, body defense. Platelets help in blood clotting. They prevent the flow of blood when you have any injury. So normally blood does not clot when you don't have any injury. When you have any injury, there may be a lot of blood loss if platelets are not present. It helps in blood clotting. Now, we discussed about lifespan, we'll see. Lifespan of RBC. Lifespan of RBC is 120 days. Lifespan of WBC is 13 to 20 days. Lifespan of platelets is 8 to 10 days only. So these are the cells which have less lifespan. So continuously These W blood cells are synthesized by, the blood cells are continuously synthesized by bone marrow. Why? Because they are dying very soon. 120 days itself is very small lifespan. And 13 to 20 days, it is a very less lifespan. Compared to this, platelets have very less lifespan. You see the number also. Number of RBC, 4.5 to 5.5 million. Million RBC per millimeter cube of blood. If you take a millimeter cube of blood, you put one dot with pen. How much small that dot is? That is the millimeter cube. That much only, very small size. In that you can see 4.5 to 5.5 million. That means 4.5 to 5.5 lakhs. WBC 5,000 to 9,000 per millimeter cube of blood. Platelets, exactly half the number of RBC, around 2.5 million per millimeter cube of blood. Okay, that is the number. What happens if this number increases? What happens if this number increases? If the number of RBC increases, the condition is called as polycythemia. If number increases, that condition is called as polycythemia. If the number decreases, if the number of RBC decreases, it is called as anemia. The same in case of WBC, if the number increases, it is leukemia, blood cancer. Blood cancer means white blood cells will increase in number. Okay. If the number decreases, that is called as leukopenia. Leukopenia. If the number of WBC is less, body's defense mechanism is very weak. That condition is called as leukopenia. If there are more number of thrombocytes, it is called as thrombocytosis. If it is less, it is called as thrombocytopenia. So that is about the differences between RBC, WBC and platelets. Now let us see the different types of WBC. We have one more classification here to discuss. There are different types of WBC. All the WBC are not similar. If you observe the WBC under microscope, there are some of the WBC which have granules in them. Small dot-like structures are present in that. Those which have granules are called as granulocytes. They have granules. Those which do not have granules in their cytoplasm are called as agranulocytes. They don't have granules. There are three types of granulocytes: acidophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Acidophils from 70 to 300 per millimeter cube. Basophils 35 to 150 per millimeter cube. Neutrophils 4,000 to 5,000 per millimeter cube. Okay. Among the granulocytes, if you see, you can see there are two types of granulocytes. First one is lymphocytes, second one is monocytes. First one is lymphocytes and second one is monocytes. If you see the structure of nucleus, these cells are almost spherical cells. If you see the nucleus structure, it has a bilobed nucleus like this. If you see in cytoplasm, nucleus is bilobed like this. In case of basophils, the nucleus is multilobed. Like this. It has a multilobed nucleus. Neutrophils. What about neutrophils? In case of neutrophil also it is a multilobed nucleus. But here it is S-shaped. It has multiple lobes but it is S-shaped. In case of this neutrophil, it's not S-shaped. It can be anyways. May have 2 to 5 lobes like this, multi-lobe. So many lobes are present. Lobes means bulged structures like this. Okay, it is bilobed. It is multilobed. That means 2 to 3 lobes are present. In case of this neutrophils, it is multilobed. That means 2 to 5 lobes are present. Okay, so multilobed. In case of lymphocytes, if you observe, what about the number of lymphocytes? Lymphocytes and monocytes are continuously, they are in fight with microorganisms that enter blood. So the number is not constant. The number is there are so many up and downs in their numbers. What is the shape of the nucleus? Lymphocytes have almost spherical nucleus. Monocytes have kidney-shaped nucleus. Kidney-shaped nucleus. Okay. Now let us see the function. Function of this acidophils, basophils, neutrophils, lymphocytes, and monocytes. Acidophils are helpful to produce allergic reactions. Allergic reactions occur when something that is not suitable for your body approaches your body through your food or through your breath. If you take anything that's not suitable to your body immediately produces allergic reactions. So allergic reactions are one way they are helpful also to protect ourselves from those things which are not suitable for our body. Basophils, they help in production of, they help this allergic reactions also, they help in wound healing also. So histamine is a product. Histamine is a product which helps in allergic reaction that is produced by this basophils, and also it helps in wound healing. Wound healing, it has a main role in wound healing. Neutrophils, neutrophils, they help in fighting the pathogens that enter into the body. They are the first line of defense. They are called as microscopic policemen. Microscopic policemen. Whenever any pathogen enters our body, they are the first cells to attack those pathogens and kill those pathogens that enter the body. So they attack and kill pathogens. Attack and kill pathogens. What are lymphocytes function? Lymphocytes produces antibodies. If neutrophil fails to protect us from that disease, then antibodies are produced by these lymphocytes. Monocytes help in phagocytosis. Phagocytosis of those pathogens that enter our body. So they are called as scavengers of blood or scavengers of body. You can say them as scavengers of blood or body. So this is the function of different WBC. With this, we have completed the blood cells. Okay, yeah, that's all. Next, lymph. Lymph is another fluid connective tissue. What is the role of lymph in our body? Just like there are blood vessels for blood vessels that carry blood, our body has blood vessels that carry lymph also. What is this lymph? How is it generated? I'll say you, listen carefully. Lymph. These are our body tissues, and let us assume this is a blood vessel. This is a blood vessel that is passing here these tissues, capillary. From this, nutrients will enter into tissues. It will first enter into this space that is present between the cells, then it will enter into the tissue. When it is entering by this way, some amount of fluid will be left back in between the spaces. The spaces are called as interstitial spaces. Interstitial spaces are the spaces between the tissues. This fluid that is left back is nothing but it has plasma. Okay, it is the plasma of this blood. So in the same area there is distribution of another type of vessels. These are called as lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels. So this leftover liquid that is present, it is spread in all places. So this leftover liquid, which is called as tissue fluids, if it is getting accumulated between the tissues, keeping on accumulating, what will happen? Our body will start swelling. To avoid that, what will happen? Whenever you move the muscles, all this will squeeze like this. Contraction will take place in muscles, that tissues that are present there will squeeze. When that squeezing takes place, this tissue fluid enters into this lymphatic vessels. These lymphatic vessels have small holes through which this fluid enters inside. Okay, so if the lymphatic vessel is like this, here there is a small hole, here there is a small hole. In the beginning of this lymphatic vessel, holes are there, tissue fluid will enter into this, and now it is called as lymph. Okay, as long as it is out of the tissue, it is called as tissue fluid. Once it enters the lymphatic vessel, it is called as lymph. What is present? So, lymph is a fluid. Lymph is a fluid that is collected back from the tissues. Okay, the leftover fluid that is left over during the absorption of nutrients. Okay, so this this liquid is very important for the absorption of nutrients. But if it is remaining inside the tissues for a long time, will get swollen up. Our body parts will get swollen up. This lymph, it enters into lymphatic vessels, and what happens once it enters into lymphatic vessels? Again, it is collected and it drains into our bloodstream only. Okay, before that we'll discuss what is lymph is having. Lymph has plasma and lymphocytes. Some of the plasma proteins, very few plasma proteins. Few, not all the proteins that are present, only few plasma proteins are present. Okay. Sometimes they may carry very negligible amount of platelets also. Very few platelets. Very few platelets. Okay. So, since lymphocytes are already present in this lymphocytes, what is the main function of lymphocytes? It produces antibodies. So, this lymphatic fluid also helps in body defense. Body defense. The main function of this lymphatic fluid is body defense, and second thing is exchange of nutrients. One function is body defense. Very important function is body defense. Second is exchange of nutrients, and it helps to drain fluid back to blood. How the fluid drains back into blood, that also we'll see now. In our body, from the lower parts of body, all the lymphatic vessels will come, even from the stomach region, all they will connect to form a thoracic duct, left thoracic duct. And the lymphatic fluid from right arm, right chest, right neck will form right thoracic duct here. So like this, it forms a right thoracic duct. Okay. So this is left thoracic duct. This is right thoracic duct. Left thoracic duct collects the blood from legs, left arm. What I said, the left thoracic duct collects the lymph from legs, left arm, abdominal region, chest and neck, left chest, left part of chest and neck regions, left side of neck regions. Only from left arm, only from right arm, right chest, right neck, right thoracic duct will carry. And we have a blood vessel here that is running and which will connect to our heart. We have a blood vessel. This is, both of them will form superior vena cava. Okay. So this blood will drain directly into this. This lymph will directly drain into this blood vessel. Okay. So here I'll draw again once clearly. This is our heart. And you know very well that here superior vena cava is there. It branches to form right subclavian vein and left subclavian vein. Okay. So I'll draw this with blue color to avoid confusion. It's a vena cava. So right subclavian vein and left subclavian vein. So this left thoracic duct will come and drain with this. It will leave all the contents into this left subclavian vein. Right thoracic duct will drain all the contents into right subclavian vein, like that. So all the waste that is tissue fluid that is present in all bodies will come back again to heart only. It will enter into venous system and it will come back to heart. So that is about lymphatic system and lymph, children. So in our next class, we are going to discuss about muscular tissue, and if time permits, we'll complete nervous tissue also. Right?